Sal Benz.
Live when the mic snap.
Justin.
In the cut, bring the fight back. Windy City talk, turn it down, that's that. Welcome to the show, it's Bulls on Tap. Bulls on Tap, pull it up, press play. Chi-Town talk, we can run it all day. From the tip-off buzz to the post-game rap. If you rock with the Bulls, you rock with Bulls on Tap.
What's going on, Bulls Nation? I am your host, Justin, here to bring you another episode of Bulls on Tap. My co-host, Sal, is not here today. Luckily, I am joined by Matt Babcock of Babcockhoops. How you doing today, Matt?
Hey, Justin, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I can't complain at all. So why don't you tell the listeners here a little bit about your background, how you got into college basketball, how you got into just basketball in general, and, you know, what about the NBA draft makes you passionate?
No, sure. Long story short, I was born into it. My dad was a college coach when I was a kid, and was bounced around college to college until I was in middle school. Then started working in the NBA. His two older brothers had worked in the NBA already, so really just kind of born into a basketball family. And although I was born into it, I chose the game at a young age. I've been passionate about it since I can remember. Really pursued a playing career, and I did okay. Played in college at a junior college in Florida, ended up walking out Arizona, but always knew I wanted to work in basketball, and coached a little bit for a professional team in Italy, and then fell into the sports agency business. Worked for several big agencies, and became my own agent, had my own agency. And after doing that for about 10 years, realized I didn't want to do that the rest of my life and my career, and wanted to kind of get back closer to my roots, my family roots, and scouting. So got out of the agency business and started scouting, and again, sort of fell into something. And this time it was the media. I started working for Sports Illustrated, and really kind of got a grip of the combination of media and scouting, and started Babcockhoops. I think it was about 8 years ago now. And that's really kind of taken on a life of its own, and pretty much, travel around. I got a full staff, watch a lot of games, and live games, a lot of film. Just love what I do, man.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you get to do something that you love, you can't complain. And you're lucky enough to have parlayed it into a business and into a growing business too. Because I've been following you for a little bit on Twitter, and it seems like your brand just continues to grow pretty much every day. What can you speak to? Like, what do you think sets you apart from some of the other quote unquote draft experts out there? Because it seems like, especially with social media these days, there are a lot of draft experts out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of independent scouts today, much more so than when I first started this. And I don't want to, sit here and say I'm better than anybody, but I think one thing that does make me unique is, I've had a lot of well-rounded experience, sort of behind the scenes. Obviously being a kid, just sort of fly on the wall. And then I've held formal roles, in basketball spots, coaching and representing players. And I still, run a consulting company. And I say consulting, I mean, essentially, I work as an entrepreneur in basketball, and just do a little bit of everything. And sometimes I get a little tired thinking about how much I'm involved in, but really have had sort of like an insider look at basketball from all angles my entire life. And so I think, and I try to bring, a unique perspective, to our content, and sort of like the public facing, content that a lot of people, I don't think get the access to.
That's awesome, man. So I brought you in here today to talk about the draft because we're getting to that time of the year. It's March Madness. Everybody is thinking draft, and this draft has a lot of hype on it. You've seen a lot of people putting a lot of gas on these prospects. You've even seen people go as far as to say that if Cooper Flagg was in this draft, he wouldn't. What did Jamal Mashburn say? He said he wouldn't be like top 3 or top 4. How do you feel about this draft compared to the 2025 draft? Because I feel like the top 4 of the 2025, Cooper, Harper, VJ, and Knipple, I feel like that's about as good as it gets from a top 4 of a draft. But obviously this draft's top 4 is pretty stacked too. So how do you rank this incoming class with last year's class?
I think looking at the top, I think you're absolutely right. Like, last year's top was really good. I just think the depth goes even further this year. And I think it's an interesting debate too of, what hypothetically would it look like if Cooper Flagg or that whole, 4 we're in this draft. And it's I don't have necessarily very definitive answers, but it would be interesting, right? I mean, I think Cooper would be right there with those other top two guys with Peterson, AJ DeBonsa. I know a lot of people have Boozer in there as well, but yeah, I mean the top is very, very good. I think it extends further. I think this year's lottery is really good, and I think it extends really to the late first round.
Okay. As far as the top four itself goes, would you say you would take this year's top four over last year's top four, or which one would you lean more towards?
Yeah, I think I would lean this year. I think Peterson and DeBonsa with Boozer. I mean, in my book, just slightly behind those two. I think those two guys are close to a Cooper Flag, if not equal to him as far as their long-term potential and upside. And that's not a discredit to Cooper Flag at all. I mean, I love Cooper Flag. I mean, how could you not? And he's doing so many great things this early. I mean, he's still a teenager, and but that's how much. Excitement I have when evaluating Peterson and DeBonsa and their upside. And I think one thing that's important is these are young guys, and I know all the Peterson narrative stuff. It's throwing people off pretty good. But the fact of the matter with both these kids, the upside is through the roof. I mean, if it clicks on all cylinders, we're looking at two potential Hall of Famers.
Now, when it comes to Peterson specifically, do you have some of the same concerns that others out there are expressing as far as him missing time this year? What do you take from the time he's missed? Because some people will say it's the injury. Other people have speculated that he just doesn't like basketball that much.
Yeah, I mean, I've evaluated him since I think his sophomore year in high school, and so I've got a pretty large sample size of getting a grip of his talent. I think the optics of all these things, it's not great. And I've been around the KU program a lot this year. I think I've seen him in person 6 times. Peterson didn't play in all those games, but I've got sort of a grip of the situation on some level or another. And I'm not concerned with his love for the game, passion, all that. I do think his circle, if you will, is careful. I think maybe over careful. I think that's a lot of what we've seen of really kind of protecting him in this sort of vulnerable phase, which just doesn't sit well with fans. And I think from a person, putting myself into the shoes of an NBA personnel spot, there's questions that need to be answered, and I think they will be during the pre-draft process. And I just updated my big board today. I've had it Peterson, DeBonsa, Boozer all year. And do I have uncertainty? Absolutely. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I didn't have a lot of these same questions. But I think time will tell. And from a traditional scouting standpoint, I do think there's an argument for both Peterson, DeBonsa, and Boozer, for that matter, of being the top guys.
My biggest thing, and I'm a guy, I'm on record saying that if I had the number 1 pick, I would take Cam Boozer number 1. I just feel like he's the safest bet, like worst case scenario. I see him being a 16-8 guy at the very least at this next level. Would you say that you value DeBonsa and Peterson a little bit more because they have the much higher upside, or what would be your reasoning for slotting Boozer at that 3rd spot?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on, and I'm just looking at it from an evaluation standpoint of projecting of what these players could become in the next handful of years. And I mean, I think if we're looking at, hey, we're trying to put together a team of freshmen in college that could win now. Yeah, Boozer's a killer, man. I mean, I'm not blind here. I'm seeing everything everybody else is seeing, and I do agree with you. He is the safest pick in the draft. And so maybe it's just sort of a personal preference or personality type of approach here of I'm not passing on guys with this much upside. And this is assuming the answers are questioned properly during the pre-draft process. If the things, all these different things that these, the medical testing, the interviews, I mean, all the, continued background intel gathering, if it all doesn't add up, sure. I mean, that's a different story. I'm assuming that certain boxes are going to get checked on some level or another to give comfortability to take the guys with the most upside.
Now, would you say that Caleb Wilson is comfortably the 4th pick, or does him being out for the rest of the year with that broken thumb, does that kind of throw a wrench into things?
No, I'm not worried about it at all. I'm actually flying to Charlotte on Tuesday and was hoping to see him for a few days. I'm disappointed I'm not able to. But I mean, he showed enough of his talent throughout the year. I don't think that'll affect things much. And this is not something like a torn ACL or Achilles or anything like that. So I think he's in good shape. And as of right now, I mean, I do think he's solidified as the fourth guy, and he's the one guy that intrigues me in the sense of like, could somebody challenge that top group long term and develop into a guy that's one of the best or the best player of that group? It's certainly possible. He's got a ton of talent, and I think he's probably the rawest talent of that top group. And so I'm very excited about Caleb Wilson, and just, I mean, man, his versatility and his athleticism. I mean, it's unique. I mean, he does some special things already, and I think he's just scratching the surface as far as what he's going to become once he matures, physically, mentally, the whole thing.
Yeah, one thing I noticed when I watch him is the kid has a motor. Like, I've heard it compared to Kevin Garnett. I'm born and raised in Minnesota, so comparing anybody's motor to Kevin Garnett is rarefied air for me. What is the biggest thing you notice when you watch him?
Yes, that's one interesting thing with Caleb Wilson. I do see the motor. I tend to see a selective motor, though. I don't think it's all the time, but when he turns it on, he's making all kinds of stuff happen. I mean, crashing the boards, tip dunks, run transition, doing stuff off the dribble. And so for me, I don't see necessarily any like real glaring weaknesses as far as his traditional skill set. I think it's just kind of maturing as a player. He needs to get stronger and just kind of learn the game a little bit more. I mean, typical 18, 19-year-old type of things.
So when it comes to this first round, it seems like the top four is pretty much solidified. I mean, we know the top three is solidified, and then Wilson is kind of the favorite at 4. Do you have somebody outside of those top 4 who's still kind of in that lottery range, so between 4 and 15, who you favor more than the other guys?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think that next grouping is very close. I mean, there's been a lot of these guys that have kind of had these roller coaster years where, I mean, they have waves where they're, guys are scoring in their 40s and things like that. And I think that the draft lottery this year is going to be very interesting because I don't see it being a deal where just because we're all doing these big boards and these rankings, that's exactly how the draft's going to go. I mean, history will tell you there's going to be a lot of shakeups, in most cases. And I'm not one to suggest it's all about fit, but it does matter on some level or another. I'm a believer that a talented kid does need a pathway to success. You can't just take a talent and throw these guys out there and just let them play and it's going to work. That's not how it works in most cases. So I'm interested to see how things shake out in May at the draft lottery. But yeah, that next group, I mean, I just did our new rankings today, but I mean, Cuff, Wagler, I mean, going down the list, Ament. I think Braden Burries has really played well lately. And I mean, just a lot of guys that you could make an argument that could be somewhere between mid and late lottery.
Do you have a favorite prospect outside of the lottery? So favorite like late first round prospect, somewhere between 16 and 30.
Let me pull my list here. I think one guy that's really impressed me this year is Christian Anderson, Jr. at Texas Tech, and he's getting some late lottery love from some people. He's slightly outside for us, and this is a draft just filled with point guards. And Christian Anderson, at first glance, he's on the smaller side. He's not real physically imposing. The more I've watched him, the more impressed I am by him. He's so advanced in his ability to make reads, and he's so skilled. I mean, he's got like endless 3-point range. I think he's got a chance of being a really good player, even if he falls outside of that lottery range. I think a lot of it is just there's so many point guards this year, and it's sort of pick your poison, and we're all getting caught up in these rankings. But I could easily see a team being like, you know what, I don't care about that. I just want my guy, and that's the guy.
Is there anybody in that second round range, somebody that teams are really sleeping on right now, but you look at them kind of like an Ayo Dosunmu, what was that, the 2020 draft, I think, where he was Big Ten Player of the Year and somehow he went overlooked, was a second round pick, and really outplayed that status. Is there anybody like that who you think is going to fall between the cracks this year?
I think things are changing pretty dramatically. I mean, the change of the college basketball landscape with NIL, is really affecting the NBA draft. And I'm expecting it this year to be even more dramatic than last year. And what I mean by that is, a guy that, let's say, is a fringe first rounder, the way these NIL deals are going, it probably doesn't make much sense for these guys to stay in the draft. And so I'm not expecting too many underclassmen to go in the second round. And so now we're talking about, fourth and fifth year seniors, who are closer to being finished products than, let's say, a freshman or sophomore. And so now teams identifying a guy in most cases that can fill a role right away, or hypothetically fill a role right away. So I don't know if there will be many slam dunks necessarily like there used to be, when I first started doing this, where guys still had a lot of upside. So to answer your question, I don't have a great answer. It's going to be a bunch of seniors that I think are solid that we've all evaluated for a long time.
Now, this is the Chicago Bulls podcast, so I have to ask, is there anybody out there that you see that you think would be a really good fit for the Chicago Bulls specifically?
Yeah, I was taking a look at the Bulls roster and sort of contract structures earlier today. And what's interesting is that they've got somewhat of a clean slate these next couple of years as far as potential flexibility financially and what they do with sort of retooling their team. Right now, they're projected to have the 9th pick in the draft. If they're in that range, the guy I really like for the roster is Braden Burries from Arizona, who's just been on fire lately. Just tough kid, checks all the boxes, kind of like a Jamal Murray type player. I think the Bulls, they're most invested in Josh Giddey right now, who's a unique player, being a 6'8" on-ball creator. Burries would be a great compliment for him and just a winning type of player. And you can see the result of a lot of his production this year at Arizona. They've had a great year, and he's been a huge part of that.
Okay, that's definitely a name I'm going to keep an eye out on. I admit I don't get to watch a whole lot of college basketball just because I watch a lot of NBA basketball, so I'm sure it's kind of similar for you. So that's a good name to watch going into March Madness. So you mentioned, your favorite prospect outside of those big three, your favorite late round prospect, favorite second round prospect. If you had to pick right now who you would pick to win Rookie of the Year, would you go chalk? Would you pick one of the big three, or is there a name that you think could surprise some people?
I think a lot of it depends on where these guys get drafted and what kind of setup there is as far as them having the offensive usage to score quite a bit. I would say Carlos Boozer right now is probably the most prepared to produce on a high level. As I mentioned before, I think Peterson, DeBonsa have more offensive upside long term. But they're, I think probably take a little bit more time than Boozer. But Boozer's ready to be a double-double guy, probably right this second.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Boozer is a lockdown to be a double-double just walking into the NBA. Seems like he has an NBA ready body. I always liked his dad's game. I appreciated, the low post mid-range, and it seems like he's a more athletic, maybe even 3-point shooting version of his dad's. That should be a good prospect in the NBA for sure. Now, here on Bulls on Tap, we close out every segment with our guests with a segment we call Random Bull of the Day. So the way that it works, I'm going to say a random Chicago Bull of the past. You're going to tell me what you remember about him. This is a guy, he had some March Madness highlights. I had a lot of hopes for him when the Bulls drafted him. And then we realized Tom Thibodeau is his coach and he doesn't play rookies. Today's random Bull of the Day is Doug McDermott.
Oh, Doug. One of the most fun college players ever. Sort of Larry Bird 2.0, him on the cover of the Sports Illustrated. That's what I remember the most. And terrific shooter. I think at the time when he first came in, was looked at as a little bit as a tweener, and today now he's a hybrid forward that can shoot the ball. And it's funny how sort of like the evolution of basketball's changed, the evolution of player evaluation, and I think he's a good example of that.
Yeah, I was a big fan of him coming out of Creighton. It's a funny story. Friday, I was at the doctor's office and I was wearing my Bulls hat, and the doctor just casually mentioned one of my best friends used to play for the Chicago Bulls. And I was like, who's your friend? And he goes, Doug McDermott. And I was like, I shot out of my chair. I was like, Doug McBuckets is your friend? And he got a laugh out of that. And he was talking about the Creighton days. Do you remember, that's the thing that NIL seems to have taken from college basketball. I feel like we're not getting like the Doug McDermotts and the random guys from Creighton in these small schools that are having the big impact. Do you see that in college basketball too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not even just college basketball, international basketball as well. I think the scouting landscape is really changing all the way around because what's happening is, like I mentioned, with guys that aren't, your surefire lottery picks, these guys are going back to school. And the thing is, if their school can't afford to get close to what their market value is, these guys are going to move on and move up. And so, I mean, pretty much, I spend most of the year watching power fours, power five schools. I mean, actually, I'm not even sure I watched any small schools live this year. And in years past, I mean, there's always been some guys at mid majors, or even small D1s, and a ton of scouting in the past internationally. And aside from a couple guys this year, I mean, our primary focus are these big schools, these big conferences.
Yeah, I definitely miss that era of college basketball where you got the small schools, you got the Cinderella stories. It certainly feels like the last couple of years in the tournament, we're not getting the same kind of Cinderella stories that we were before, but everything happens for a reason. So I'm sure they'll figure this NIL thing out when it comes to that. Well, I thank you for coming on today. Take a second, let the audience know where they can find you, plug your socials, plug everything you got going on, because you are one of the best follows when it comes to college basketball content out there.
No, I appreciate that. And first off, our website is babcockhoops.com. We got a big board on there. I'll be doing a mock draft here soon, as soon as the NBA season finishes up. And then we've got scouting reports that our full scouting staff team have worked on. I think we've got just about everybody on there. We're still working on a few to round it out. And we're creating content from between now and the draft in late June. So babcockhoops.com. And then our socials are at Babcock Hoops, and then mine personally is at Matt Babcock 11. So give us a follow and let us know what you think.
You heard it here, guys. Go follow Babcock Hoops. That's where you're going to get all the best mock drafts, all the best college analysis. Matt, thanks for coming on to Bulls on Tap. We appreciate it. We'll definitely have to have you on a little bit closer to the draft after the NCAA tournament when things kind of shake out a little bit more.
No, that sounds great. I appreciate you having me.
All right, guys, that was Matt Babcock of Babcock Hoops. Like I said, go give him a follow. The guy's one of the best ones in the game to follow. I'm going to bring on Gilty now, Jordan Gilty. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he runs the Bulls HQ Discord. We're going to talk a little bit of the Bulls game tonight, as well as just some general Bulls fandom questions, because this man running the Discord, you know that he is dealing with all sorts of different stuff as far as the Bulls fans go. So let me get him added to the studio here, added to the stage. All right, Gilty, you able to hear me? Any luck here, Gilty? Hold on just a second, guys. This is what happens when you do live podcasting. Technical difficulties is like the theme of today. All right, he's going to exit the studio. He's going to come back. And then we'll get him going here. So yeah, I thought that was a good little episode there with Matt. I wish we could have got a little bit more in depth with some of the prospects, but I really liked what he said about Caleb Wilson. All right, we got Gilty coming back in here. Let's add him to the stage. What's up, Gilty? You hearing me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now I can't hear you again. Whatever you were doing was working, and then it stopped. Still can't hear you, man. Man, we are struggling with the. Hey, there we go. I can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking
All
through
right,
through the AirPods now, but fuck it. Got the mic for no reason at this point.
We'll get that figured out a different time. But how you doing today, man?
Gucci, man. Gucci, good to be here.
Hell yeah, happy to have you on, man. So let's tell the pod about you a little bit. I feel like at this point you're everywhere. I've seen you on, Bulls Without Borders. I saw you on Sal's podcast, Horns Over Hoops. Everybody knows you from the Discord, but for the uninitiated, tell them a little bit about yourself, where your Bulls fandom started. What made you like the Bulls, and what made you get into this content game?
Yeah, man, just playing ball, my whole life. Up until high school, obviously for a lot of guys, it's the same journey. But just growing up in Chicago, like basketball is everything. So it was either, like I told Sal, it was either basketball or music. For a lot of guys, and basketball was a thing for me. And like once I stopped playing it myself, I just fell in love with it. Around the time that D Rose came to the Bulls, and ever since then, man, it's been a hard watch, trying to compare this team to that team, but you still love the game, so I love the game still. And just covering the team, I started this past winter actually, covering the team for On Tap, and everything has kind of just been taking off since then, just having fun with it.
Hell yeah, man. You definitely give like a unique voice to the Bulls content game because you are from Chicago. And I think I heard you say on Sal's podcast, you're from around the same area Derrick Rose is from. And that's something that brings a little bit of authenticity to the game. What do you feel like actually walking the streets of Chicago and just kind of being around the team day in and day out, and being around the people who are really close to the team day in and day out? What do you think that does for you as far as your voice when it comes to this content game?
Yeah, man, it just brings I'm trying to think of layman's terms for it, but it just brings that hood shit, man. Like the team is from Chicago, so it's easy to have an appreciation for the game that's played in your city when you're from the city, so it's definitely going to be nice to be able to bring that kind of flavor to it. I talked with Sal about I'm going to be doing the Round Table podcast with Mike Walton, and he's from Stony Island too, so we're from the same area, and that's around the same area, like Inglewood on the south side of Chicago, that D Rose is from. So I think it'll just be nice to be able to bring, like you said, just a new side of the podcasting world into it, and especially being so close to the team. But yeah, I think to answer your question with that too, I think that's why it was my favorite time when D Rose was playing, because you got to see somebody really represent what it means to be from Chicago and play that Chicago brand of basketball, man. Like D Rose he was tough, and he definitely played out for the city in that regard. I'd say the closest that we've had to it, is just guys like Modest. Even though people, it's a whole debate going on whether Modest is really from Chicago or not. I think he's from Hinsdale, but shout out to my guy Coach Lero. Lero said that he knows that Modest trained with a coach from Chicago, and it shows in him. Like Modest, I can't swear on this podcast too much, but Modest is with the stuff, if you will. So Modest is with all that, and I love seeing my boy Modest out there, man. He's hanging out with the rappers from the city, on the Lyrical Lemonade podcast, and just that Chicago influence definitely shows from Modest on the court, man. He's trying to go out there and hurt you, and I love that from him. So we're gonna wait for his body to catch up with his mindset, but yeah, I'm liking the team right now with Modest out there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves Modest. Now, you
Yeah,
kind
he's
of you
tough.
kind of you kind of glazed over it a little bit there, and I know you broke it down more on Sal's podcast, but the fact that you are going to launch a podcast with Zen Master Mike Walton, one of
Yeah,
my
my
favorite
boy.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite Twitter follows. Like that dude cracks me up. What can we expect from that podcast? Because there's so many podcasts out there. Like me and Sal with this one, we're trying to do something a little different than other Bulls podcasts. What are you and Mike going to bring to the table to set you guys apart?
Yeah, for sure. We were talking about it last night, man. Just good vibes, and it's gonna be cool to just talk ball, and like you say, man, like the Zen Master, man, he's a goat, man. He just got like such great energy. So we're planning on just bringing on like a lot of guys from around the community, like guys like C Red Fred. Shout out to my guy Mark I'm definitely gonna bring him on there. And just like a lot of those good basketball minds. I'm looking forward to having guys like Fred and Doug Tonis come on. Been talking to Peck about him coming on, and guys like Big Dave. So it's just gonna be really cool to just bring that Chicago flavor and talk some good ball on there, man. I'm honored to be on there with Mike Wald, man. That, like you said, he's good people. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Mike is one of the best. Now you run the Bulls Discord, and people have asked me, because I've tried spreading it, getting more people on it a little bit. And
Mhm.
people ask me like, what is it? And the way I kind of describe it is I kind of describe it like a Reddit page for
Mhm.
unhinged Bulls fans. How would you describe the Bulls Discord? Explain it to our audience a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten a lot more unhinged the past year or so, and especially since my boy Undisputed has came in there. That boy, hey, that man is something else. So yeah, man, the way I've always described the Bulls HQ Discord, man, I want it to become like a networking hub, like we have, as Justin said, there's so many great creators in our community, and my goal was always just to be like the point guard out there, man, setting assists for our people and bringing people together. Because when Mark K ran it, I watched a lot of guys get their starts in the podcasting game in there and just watch so many cool things go down in there. So I kind of wanted to upkeep that tradition, and just have guys like come through there and just talk ball together. You have so many different creators in one space that are just talking ball. You never know, that can give inspiration to a podcast episode for them, or have a new show be made, from being in there together and just talking ball. But even aside from networking and collabing, I think just the coolest part about it, like I said, is just there's a lot of sickos in there that talk ball. I see my guy Kurtz is in the comments, like that's my boy, it's my little bro. Like you got guys like Kurtz in there, who just love to talk ball. So the way I would describe it, man, if you're a sicko about basketball, and you really love being around dudes who are gonna talk ball with you from the moment you wake up to the moment you're freaking sleep.
Dude, you
Um,
can you can cuss on this
oh,
podcast.
can we? Okay,
I don't know where
okay.
you got the idea that we can't cuss, but
I
like I
was trying to
cuss all the
watch
time.
myself. All right,
No,
good. Yeah. So
you
if,
can
if you're
cuss.
trying to come talk ball with the boys, man, and just potentially grow, if you're a creator trying to grow your platform or grow your audience, or if you're just a sicko that loves to talk ball, you can't go wrong in the Bulls HQ. And if you love to argue, we have a couple dudes in there who love to argue right with you. So it's a place for sickos. If you're a sicko, you'll fit right in.
Hell yeah. So what's your favorite part about running the Bulls Discord?
Definitely, it's always been reading the conversations, and I've grown my perspective so much from that Discord, man, because there's just so many different opinions in there. Like, and I'm talking back when Mark K ran it, those guys thought so much differently to me. Like, if Vince is watching, I know he's not, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have so many like just adults in there who are spending time with their kids. They don't got time to be in there, but like dudes like Vince. I grew up in there, like listening to those dudes who had such a different perspective on things that grew my mind. So I think my favorite part about it truly is being able to sit back sometimes and just read the conversations and not even have to take part in them. You just get to sit back and be a fly on the wall to some really cool conversations. And definitely it's funny as hell in there, man. Like you can't go wrong in that place, dude. I laugh my ass off a lot of the times, and on the top of growing my game with it too.
Yeah, I think I responded to Troy on Twitter today because he was saying he had to catch up on the Discord messages. And I was like, I'm not even gonna lie, dude. When I check that app and it's got
You
25
can't.
plus messages, I'm like, I'm not reading all that. Like,
Yeah, you can't catch up. There's no catching up. I had some people come in like from the CHGO server, because I'm in like their fantasy basketball league, and it was like a month or two ago, and it was like three of them came in at the same time, and they messaged me in the fantasy basketball chat, and they were like, "Dude, the activity in that server, I can't keep up." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, like don't ever try to come in there and keep up. It's just there for you at your disposal. If you come in and you jump into a crazy conversation, fucking jump in, but don't ever come in there thinking like you're gonna be able to keep up, because you can't. I can't. Fuck's sake."
no, it's impossible. What would you say is, I don't want to say your most hated part. Let's keep it positive. What's your least favorite part about running the Bulls HQ?
Just me, man. I like to see everybody get along. So my least favorite part is the times where, we are a bunch of grown men, but like if it gets a little too carried away sometimes and I can't be in there to kind of like set the tone and mediate the vibes, man. I never want anybody in there to feel like they're not welcome, or that you're gonna get chastised for having a different fucking opinion than people. Like I'm not about that, man. I'm not like everyone should be welcome. Like I see Noah said, we got the legendary Kelder in there, like shout out to my guy Kelder. That place is meant to be for any and everybody to come through. Different takes alike. No one should be in there getting fucking shamed. Just for having some basketball opinions. So that's my least favorite part of it. But at the same time, it kind of adds into it being my favorite part, because it just kind of comes with being a grown ass man. In a room where we're talking sports, and sports gets fucking heated quick. So it just comes with it. But like I have no least favorite part. But if I had to pick one, just the times like that, like when I can't be in there to kind of like mediate and set the place in a positive light. If I come back like hours later and I see just hell broke loose, it sucks. But it comes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah, man, you can't control how people are gonna act. They're gonna do whatever they want to do, they're going to talk reckless. I mean, at the end of the day, they're behind a keyboard, so they feel real comfortable saying
It's
things
the
that,
fucking the world we live in
yeah,
now, man.
yeah, it's like Mike Tyson said, man. He said social media made everybody comfortable talking shit without getting punched in the mouth. But we're not going to talk about any of that. We're going to keep it positive here. This is a
Hmm.
positive podcast, Positive Bulls podcast. But let's step away from the Chicago Bulls a little bit because I don't know
Hmm.
about you, but years like this, if I only watched the Chicago Bulls, I would go crazy. I would probably hate basketball if
You
I only
can't.
watched the Chicago
Yeah.
Bulls. So let me know, what's your favorite non-Bulls storyline in the NBA this year? And you
Mm.
don't have to narrow it to one. If you got a couple, you can spit a couple out
Okay,
there too.
I was about to say that's tough because I love Anthony Edwards. He's a sicko. Like he's nasty. Like I know like Sal would love to get into conspiracy theories. Like I had a conspiracy like 3 years ago. I'm like, man, that might be one of Michael Jordan's illegitimate kids, man, because he kind of looks like him, but he definitely has that nasty mindset. Like the clip he just had recently, where he got in his coach's face and was like, "That's what the fuck I do," because he didn't pass the ball at the end, and his coach wanted him to pass the ball, but then he hit that nasty ass dagger for them. So just watching Ant Man continue each year to just get nastier and nastier is fun. And definitely, I mean, I feel like it's easy, but like Wimby is nasty. Like he gives me the same feeling as D Rose used to, where you know you're getting to somebody who every time you watch him, you're gonna see some unearthly things. Like you never know what he's an alien, but he also has the mindset of I want to kill you. Like I love that about Wimby. Like he's going out there and he doesn't want to be your friend. He does not like OKC, and I love that. I love that man. Like he's after Chet, you know. So yeah, I think watching Wimby and Ant has just been it's been super cool this season, man. They're on some Space Jam shit for real.
Yeah, Wemby. I had to eat a little crow on Wemby because I was his biggest hater. And it wasn't that
Mm,
I was saying he wasn't going to be good. I was just sick of people putting him in top 5, top 10 talks when he hadn't
already.
done anything yet. That was my big
Yeah,
thing. But he's
that's
been
fair.
unstoppable this year. I'm really
Mhm.
interested to see where the Spurs go because talent wise, they're there. But we see time and time again that you need a little experience. Like OKC 2 years ago, they lost to the Mavs in the first round. They just needed experience. They were the better team,
Mhm.
but they just needed that experience. So we'll see what happens with the Spurs. Anything else that you're watching, league wide this year, especially with the playoffs coming up?
No, I'm ashamed to say it. You know, I haven't been. I've been, trying to keep up with the Bulls as much this year, not recovering them. But yeah, no. As far as I know, I should be watching Portland more because I know we might get that pick.
We ain't getting that
But
pick.
then, no, you don't think so? They're not making it to the playoffs? Oh,
They're
damn.
not making it to the playoffs, man. We can give up that dream. They're not doing
That
that.
sucks. That sucks. But yeah, no. As far as that, I can say this year I haven't been watching too much outside of just the Bulls this year.
Okay. I got three that I've been watching a lot this year. So I've been talking about it all year long. I made a video like 2 weeks ago where I was like, I got to cut it out with the Cade Cunningham talks. I'm talking about the kid every 3 days, but just
Mm,
watching his growth this year has been so fun. It's been reminiscent of D Rose's MVP year where we knew he was good. We didn't know he was good enough to take a team and lead them to 60 wins in the first seed. So
yes.
that's been my favorite thing to watch this year. Number two has been
Facts.
Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey it gives me Allen Iverson vibes. He's the smallest guy on the court. He's got the braids. They're wearing the throwback jerseys. Gives me
Mm,
Allen Iverson vibes. Loved AI as a kid. And number three is a recent one. And if you've watched any of the Bulls on Tap episodes since me and Sal took over, I think we've mentioned this guy every single pod because we're both big fans of him and he gets a lot of hate. And I did a video about him today, but I'm loving the redemption of Paulo Banquero because people were
mhm.
talking crazy about that, man. There were people
Yeah. I was
in
about to
your
say in the
Discord
Discord. Yep. Yeah,
telling me that Modest Buzelis is better than Paulo Banquero. And I was like, you guys don't watch basketball. Simply put, you don't watch non-Bulls basketball if you feel
they're too
that way. So
biased. They're too
too
biased.
biased. And that's one thing I harp on with a lot of fans is I tell them, get outside of the Chicago Bulls bubble, man. Get
You have
outside of
to.
the echo chamber. Watch the rest of the league. If you watch the rest of the league, you'll understand why you perceive my takes as being negative towards the Bulls. Because I watch the rest of the league. I watch
And you
basketball.
just have realist takes. You just keep it
Yeah.
real. You're not biased. And that gets called hate these days. We live in a world where if you don't only watch your team and you don't suck your team off, now all of a sudden you're negative. Like God forbid you're objective and watch the rest of the league because that's how you actually see the talent that you have on your team and you're able to compare what your team really is when you watch the rest of the league. But these days, if you say that your guy on your team isn't the best damn player in the whole league, then now you're a negative fan. What a time.
And shout out to Noah in the chat saying chill on my boy Modest. I'm not even hating on Modest, man. I'm just saying Paulo is a guy right now. His last 10 games, we're talking about 26 points a game, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Modest ain't
Going
doing
crazy.
that. Paulo's a guy, his second year in the NBA, he played a Cavs team. He was way overmatched. He averaged 30 points a game in that first round series. Modest ain't doing that. Last year, he played the defending champion Celtics in the second round. Once again, overmatched. He averaged 28 points a game, 12 rebounds, 6 assists in that series. Modest ain't doing that. So I'm not hating on Modest. I'm just saying you guys, and I'm not talking to you specifically here. No, I'm talking about a lot of Bulls fans in general. Y'all got to stop putting Modest in these conversations that he's simply just not ready for yet.
He's not there yet. That's okay.
Not yet is the key word. Like, shout out to Noah in the chat again. Not yet is the key word there, but you guys are putting the cart before the horse. It's you guys out there who are like, before the season, he's going to win most improved player. He's going to average 20. He's the next Giannis. Like, let the kid grow,
get disappointed.
Man.
Yeah, and then when he doesn't do it, now all of a sudden, now he's not meeting everyone's expectations. But like y'all put those expectations on him. It's not about the numbers, it's about the way he's playing out there, his intentions. That's what I look for. I don't give a damn what he averages, but like that's what's wrong with our fan base, man. Like people get so caught up in, oh, they got to average 25 and this and that to be good. It's like, dude, you could average 10 points from me, but if you out there making winning basketball plays and you out there going hard, like that's what I want to see. But no, I'm right there with you though.
Yeah, it's expectations, man. That's what it comes down to. Like, shout out to Kenny Beecham, probably the most famous Chicago Bulls content creator there is. He had that post today where it was, who's the most disappointing player on your team this year? And he's a Bulls fan, so a lot of Bulls fans were in his mentions, and a lot of them were saying Buzelis, and it's because they expected all NBA seasons. I'm not disappointed one bit by Buzelis.
No,
He's shown growth to me.
I love this season.
Yeah. I responded to Kenny and I was like, honestly, as a Bulls fan, man, I don't have anybody who's most disappointing because I didn't expect anything from this team. I expected Buzelis to be what he is. I expected Giddey to be what he is. And everybody else, like I expected more from Kobe White when he was here, but he was injured. So I'm not going to hold that against him. Do you have somebody that you're a little disappointed with as a Bulls fan this year? Or how do you feel about this team right now?
Yeah, the closest, like you said, it would, excuse me, shit. The closest for me would be Kobe. Like if I had to pick one person, it would be Kobe. But it's because like I told you in the court, like I can't get too upset with him or disappointed because he was dealing with the injury. He is trying to come back, and this was a tumultuous season for him. The contract, knowing that you're probably going to get traded, all the chatter all year, like he's hearing voices in his head on that court, So I know it was hard for him, and I feel for him. And he talked about it when they interviewed him when he was on the Hornets after he got traded. Like he said, like he knew on like his last game was probably going to be his last game here. So he every time he was going out there, you could tell like it was affecting him. But even with all that said, like yeah, if I had to pick somebody, it was Kobe, man, because I was really looking forward to seeing him just take over that pure scoring role, with Giddey, and just I was really disappointed in his turnovers. He had some very careless turnovers a lot this season. Now, again, maybe that's because of all the shit going on, but I don't know. He just kind of disappointed me on that front, man. He was like a lot of his turnovers were unforced, man. But again, maybe that's just because like he couldn't think straight, But yeah, if I had to pick somebody this season, it was Kobe for sure.
Yeah, the turnovers were an issue. And when this team was quote unquote competitive before the trades, when they were the 10 seed, they were going to be another playing team. That was what was this team's Achilles heel was Josh Giddey would have, 4 or 5 turnovers a game, and 3 of them would be unforced. Kobe'd have 3, 5, 4, something like that a game. A lot of them were unforced. We were just sloppy and careless with the ball, which to me is a coaching thing, but some people will disagree with that. Now,
I agree with you.
As far as the Bulls go tonight, they got the Sacramento Kings. They just beat the Phoenix Suns the other day. The Kings, there's no DeMar DeRozan tonight. You think we're going to get another win? We're going to quote unquote mess up the tank with another win tonight?
Don't let Undisputed hear that. Man, this damn Bulls team, dog. Look, we might fuck around. You just never know with these dudes, man. Like they might go out there. But I think I just saw Casey Johnson said that now Giddey, Modest, and I think P. Will are all back. So they're probably going to spank the Kings, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. I mean, how many games have we supposed to win that we drop? So I think we're going to spank the Kings, especially with DeMar and Zach out and Sabonis. But if we lose, I won't be surprised because Bulls are going to bull,
One thing that I'm really looking forward to watching tonight, and it's something that's under the radar, I don't think anybody's really talked about, is since we know Josh Giddey is playing, I want to see how Russell Westbrook goes at him, because I've been watching
Mm.
Russ his entire NBA career, and he has that dog in him. When he sees somebody like Giddey, not that Giddey isn't good, it's Russ. I feel like anytime there's a white guy across from him, Russ is attacking him. That's been him his whole career. So I want to see
Yeah.
how Russ attacks tonight, because the Kings have been dog shit, but Russ has been pretty good this year.
Mhm.
Have you had a chance to see some of the stats that Russ has been putting up this year? Do you expect anybody on the Bulls to be able to stop him tonight, or are we going to get a classic
Fuck no.
Westbrook triple double? Yep.
Classic Westbrook, and I know my boy Kurtz, man. If he hears this, like I know he gonna be ecstatic because Kurtz goes to war for Russ in that Discord. He's been doing it for some time now, and like all year, like you said, like have I seen his stats? The reason I've been seeing his stats is because of Kurtz. Like Kurtz has been in there saying, like I thought, like what y'all say, y'all is real quiet in here today because Russ will go out there and put like a triple double. Like the guys will give him shit and be like, oh, but it came with a loss. But regardless, for what they got, Russ, what was he about to be out the league?
Yep.
And just the disrespect that Russ has gone through, man. The way they tried to tarnish that man's name. I posted the clip in there the other day. I think it was yesterday when he stood up to the media on behalf of like the young guys on his team. Like Russ is just such a real dude. He's always gonna be one of my favorite people, man. He's gonna hold people accountable. And like you said, he sees a certain kind of person across from him. He finna go at you because he takes it as a slight. So I think yeah, Russ about to fuck us up. But we still might win that because it's all of us against Russ tonight. But I think he's gonna have a great game.
Yeah, Russ is one of the most polarizing players maybe of all time, and I've never really understood it. There was a period of time, probably from Kobe's retirement up until Russ went to the Rockets, where he was just my favorite player in the league, because I knew in the age of load management, in the age of tanking, in the age of dudes just straight up not giving a shit, Russ played with his
Hmm.
heart on the line every game, played every game like it's his last. So I always like the
Hmm.
dude, always respect the dude. That year we signed Pat Bev. You remember we were in rumors for Russell Westbrook, and I might have been the only guy on Bulls
Russell or
Twitter
Dennis
who,
Schroeder.
yep, I was like, fuck it, go get Westbrook. Like I would have preferred him over Pat Bev, because I was like, we're a playing team either way, but Russ might be able to do something crazy. Like,
Hmm.
why not? So
I would have much
Matt,
rather had Russell than fucking Patrick Beverly. And I think
I
wasn't
can't
it when
stand
we
him.
were gonna have him or Schroeder, right? And then we didn't get either. And then we got Patrick Beverly, if I
Yep.
remember that correctly. Yeah, I would have
Yeah, there.
much rather had Russ, man. That would have been fun shit. Especially we still had Zach too. Those two on a fast break back then. Fuck.
We had was that the year Zach was still there? Or was he? I don't remember if Zach was out with the knee injury or if that was the year after. But either way, we would have had
Mm.
Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook. Like, yeah, it's not a championship team, but it
No,
would have done more for that team than Pat Bev did, in my opinion. So
I
that's
never
one
really
thing I'm
liked
looking
Pat
for.
Bev, man.
Nah,
He
I
was he
always
was one of
say
these dudes.
I always say my least favorite type of player in the NBA is dudes who their primary skill set is being annoying. So whether it's Patrick Beverly, Lou Dort, Marcus Smart, these guys all lean on, they get called good defenders. And most of the time, like
X.
Kevin Durant had that quote where he was like, Patrick Beverly's got you guys fooled. Like, you guys think he's a good defender. We don't sweat Patrick Beverly. So those are my least favorite type of players in the NBA, man.
No, I agree. And then like the fact I love that quote because he said he had him fooled like in the Discord. That was one thing. Like we're talking about Chicago. Like so like people who not from the city, like they I saw it in school 'cause I went to school in the suburbs too. So you would see it all the time. Like kids from the burbs get fooled by just kids who are black thinking like, oh, are you from Chicago? You gotta be tough. Not everybody from Chicago tough. So a lot of dudes in the court, they'd be saying like, oh, Patrick Beverly's got that dog in him. He's Chicago tough. And I'm like, hey, he's a disgrace to people from Chicago, man. Like he do too much of this. Like D Rose,
Mhm.
we take pride in D Rose. D Rose a humble beast. Patrick Beverly a goofy. Like I don't care if you hear this one day, P. Bear. Like the way he was moving on that court, it's all this. I ain't never been a fan of that shit, man. It's corny. So yeah, I would have much preferred to have a dude like the Brody over here instead of P. Bear out here just being annoying and shit, man. But that's neither here nor there now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Russ does tonight. I'd expect him to have a big game. As far as what are you looking for when you're watching these Bulls games, man? Because I've said a
Mm,
thousand times, I'm not rooting for wins. I'm not rooting for losses.
mm-mm.
Don't want us to win because I don't want to be in that playing tournament again. And losses don't matter because we're stuck where we are in the lottery standings. Like we can't catch any of the teams below us. I'm sorry. I think the closest team below us has 22 wins and we're at
Oh
26.
fuck.
Maybe maybe even 27 after tonight. So I don't think we're going to catch anybody. So when I watch, I don't care about the score, the wins, the losses, whatever. I'm literally just watching Buzelis. I'm watching Giddey. Now I got my eye on Leonard Miller. I'm seeing if this kid's going to be something. What are you watching when you're watching these games?
Same shit. I'm on that same timing as you, man. Like I just want to see them go out there. I want to see Modest have free reign. Like this is your time, Modest. Like you said, like for those in the know, they're not concerned about wins or losses right now. Like go out there and ball, go out there and hoop, try new shit, experiment. Because why would you not right now? This is your time to go out there and just experiment. Like try the whole bag out, you know. So I want to see a lot of minutes from Modest, just trying all the shit. I want to see. I was talking about it recently too. Like I don't care to see Giddy out there and have him risk injury, but at the same time, I'm not mad at him being out there if he's healthy because he can get those reps in. And him and Modest, if we're gonna be going with Giddy going forward, he needs those reps with Modest, you know. So yeah, I just want to see these boys go out there and hoop, you know. Truly go out there and attack.
That's all we want is just to see guys go out and hoop. So we got 3 segments we close every episode with. So all you guys in the chat right now, the final segment we close with is our mailbag. So if you guys have questions for me or Gilty, post it in the chat right now. We usually close with random bull of the day, but I did that with Matt before you. We did Doug McDermott. I got to get your thoughts. What were your thoughts on Doug McDermott? Because I was a big fan when we drafted him, and then we didn't use him.
Yo, right there. I was so ecstatic because I'm like, oh, we finally got a shooter because that was around the time. Like, the Bulls always just struggle to get like good role players. And I was excited for McBuckets. I'm like, oh shit, we got us one. We got us one. And like you said, we didn't even use the man and didn't use him correctly. And then you watch him get traded and be used correctly damn near immediately. It's a Chicago curse. But no, I love Matt Buckets, man. I love seeing him, like you said, the Creighton days, just with that range, just pulling up with range, man. He seemed to me at the time like almost like a more athletic Kyle Korver, I thought back then. So I really wanted to see him get more minutes and just be utilized correctly. It's like we've been having that problem for some time now, huh? The Bulls can never find a way to use their guys the right way.
Nope.
Damn it. Yeah, man. But yeah, I like McBuckets a lot, man. He was fun.
Yeah, that Kyle Korver comp was so perfect for him, not just because they're white guys who play at Creighton, but they were great movement shooters coming off pin downs, coming off screens. Like they didn't need to go straight up. Like Korver could hit a fadeaway 3, he could hit it moving, he could do everything. I thought McDermott, honestly, was going to be better because he showed a little bit more like off the bounce, off the dribble. So I thought he was going to be better. Never really happened for him. We're in the season right now with trades and stuff. And it's funny because that trade, that first the trade when we traded Doug McDermott, one of my least favorite Chicago Bulls trades of all time because it was Taj Gibson and Doug McDermott for campaign. There were no draft picks. We traded a beloved member of the Chicago Bulls and a guy we had just taken in the lottery a year before for Cameron Payne of all people. Do you remember that trade? Do you remember what you were thinking when that trade happened?
Yeah, pissed and just saying why. Like what I'm in hell. You know, I just remember feeling like, what is this fucking team? Like those were the years it was starting to get hard to watch. You know, this damn team, it'll test you. And it was around shit like that happened. And then like we're trading for who? Campaign? Like, yeah, man. I wasn't happy. Wasn't happy.
No. It was rough. I mean, the only bright side was they went to a Thunder team that was immediately a playoff team, so you got to root for them a little bit there. But the Bulls, man, they're always just making trades and not getting anything back. And it's always players that we love, like Taj Gibson, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu.
Yes.
It's always those kind of guys. So, but yeah, like I said, if you guys got any questions for the mailbag, we'll close with that. We're gonna do on tap or totally crap in a second. But any questions for the mailbag, post it in the chat right here. We already got Luke asking one. That's a good one. I'm excited to answer that one later. But today for on tap or totally crap, if you guys haven't watched this show before, I'm gonna say a statement. If you agree with the statement, you're gonna say on tap. If you disagree, you're gonna say totally crap. Then you're gonna give your reasoning behind it. Chat, feel free to interact with it too. I want to see your guys' answers. So you ready to play on tap or totally crap?
Let's get it.
All right, let's do it. So on tap or totally crap, Josh Giddey will make 2 or more all-star games in his career.
Oh, on tap.
All right, you got any reasoning behind that one?
Yeah, man. I just feel like if we set this team up with some good talent, the numbers will be there. And I feel like numbers, especially in today's age, is what gets you into the All Star game. Like these kids don't really care about winning. That's also starting to change though, because they've been talking about like that's people love Wimby and Ant so much because they're bringing that winning even during the regular season, that passion for that back. Even the All Star game, they're saying is going to be better going forward. So maybe that won't be totally uncapped. But for now, I say on tap because I think that Giddy will definitely get the numbers once we get guys around him that can capitalize off his assists.
All right. So we're going to keep the Josh Giddey theme going. I'm going to see how much you believe in this kid. On tap or totally crap, Josh Giddey will be the best player on a team that wins a playoff series.
Totally crap.
So you don't believe in him that much then?
Well, is I guess it just depends because like again, if you surround him like we talking draft prospects later and shit, but like if you get like a Caleb Wilson or you get a Batman, 'cause we've been talking about this on like Bulls Without Borders. I know Troy always says that his ideal version of Giddy is, Giddy's a third or fourth best player on your team. He should never be the first one. So on a championship team, like during a playoff series, even if he's your third best player, but if that series he's the one, making those timely passes or those timely buckets, I can see that from him. So yeah, on tap, it's tough. It's tough. If he's on a team that's properly constructed, on tap. But if it's just up to him and he's number one, totally crap. He can't do it. He's not built like that.
And I'm not saying that Josh Giddey can't be the starting point guard of a team that wins a playoff series. Not saying that at all. He definitely could be. I'm saying he cannot be the best player on a team
Mm-mm.
that wins a playoff series. That's just my opinion. I would love to be proven wrong. I say that every time that I give an opinion on Josh Giddey or Modest Buzelis. This is what I think about them. I would love if they prove me wrong. I'm never going to be mad if my opinion is wrong. So our
Facts.
final question for on tap or totally crap. One of Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, or AJ Diabata are going to be Chicago Bulls next year.
I'm gonna say totally crap with the disclaimer that usually if I say like, oh yeah, if I get excited, then the shit won't happen. So I'm gonna say totally crap.
Okay.
But y'all
right.
know what I'm really on. So just know I'm praying, but totally crap.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I have no expectations with the lottery. I learned during the Zion and John Morant lottery when I think we had the second or third best odds, something like that,
Yeah.
to not get my hopes up because that's not the way the Bulls go. So, and the way this top 10 goes, especially the way that Matt was talking about it earlier today, like any prospect we get, I'm probably going to be happy with. So, let's wrap it up with a couple of the mailbag questions here. And Luke's one, it ties right into what we're just talking about with the draft. Rank the top 4 draft prospects in terms of how they fit with the Chicago Bulls. So we're talking about Darren Peterson, we're talking about AJ Diabata, we're talking about Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson. That seems to be the consensus big 4. So break it down, man. How much of these guys have you watched? Who do you think is the best fit with the Chicago Bulls?
Give me I want to say DP. Like DP is the biggest risk. But give me AJ first and then give me Caleb Wilson second. DP third, Boozer fourth.
Man, we're opposites. I want Boozer number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the fit with the Bulls because he's a certified 5. He's, 6'10". He's what, 240, 250. He's got his dad's strength. You're seeing him bully guys in college, but he can also extend out to the 3-point range.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing the playmaking chops. He has some nice passing chops, especially the college game is so much more condensed than the NBA game that when you get him in the NBA with some spacing, I think he's really going to show off those passing chops. I'm not going to say it's like Jokic level passing, but we might be talking about something like Domantas Sabonis level passing, where he's a guy who's averaged 7-8 assists a game. So Cam Boozer, he'd probably be my favorite fit. Number 2 is a toss up between, if I'm talking favorite fit, then I'm probably going to go Caleb Wilson just because he has that motor. He plays with that dog in him, and the Bulls have been missing that kind of player for sure. I would take AJ number 3 because the tools he has, man, like that kid, if he's not a 5-time All-Star, at least in his career, like his career's a letdown. And then Peterson, I just have too many questions, not even personality wise. Like all the indications are that he's kind of an antisocial psychopath. Like he has a Michael Myers tattoo. He doesn't like talking to people, and that's all cool. His hamstrings scare the crap out of me. That's
Yeah.
what sidelined Zion for most of his career, and the Bulls don't have a training staff that I trust for it. So he would rank in my
Right.
number 4.
Yeah. I kind of feel DP there. You talking about the silent saga. I was just telling Mike Walton that like I kind of relate to that, you know. It's like when he said like he's an antisocial loner, I'm like, hey, I kind of feel that game, you know. Like I hope best case scenario that's just his way of saying like he's not with all the off court antics. And what you like to see out of a young kid too, especially in his age group, to like not be so invested in like social media and all the off the court bullshit, man. I really hope that's the case. But yeah, like you said, though, it can go the other way too, and he could be in there waiting for his teammates in the locker room with a damn knife and shit in his locker and shit. So you never know, man. We'll see. But the hamstrings and that injury, like the way he's handling that, that's what really concerns me with him. Like how he like asked to get let out of the game early by his coach. Is that him just being smart, you know, or you would have to think it's just him being smart, right? Like you couldn't
Yeah.
think that somebody could be that soft and like they really scared to play. I would have to think that it's some kind of a strategy. Like there's no way you can be that good and also be a fucking bitch. I'm sorry. That's just the best way I could put it. I hope
Yeah.
not. That would be insane. That'd be like a God-given waste of talent right there.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree. I mean, I hope it's not a toughness thing. I do question like when he's taking himself out of games.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what's your mindset, dude? Because any of us who've competed in stuff before, we know that adrenaline kind of takes over, and you don't necessarily feel the pain, and it's not like a
Mm-mm.
debilitating injury he's taking
No.
himself out of these games with. So I'm not gonna play psychologist here. Like I'm gonna assume that it's just him being safe, being cautious, but I do wonder
Mhm.
where that killer instinct comes in with him.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna come up in the league. I think it's gonna be one of those things that once he gets to the league, he's just an animal. And then we look back and be like, okay, he was doing that like to maybe try to like, just get in people's heads or who knows. I think that's what it is. I just can't see somebody who's that much of a dog on the court, who says like they're an antisocial dude who doesn't care like to get along with everybody. I just can't see him being that mentally soft. But at the same time, it is a new day and age. These kids are different, so who knows, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you don't want to speculate. They made the same speculations about Anthony Edwards. They were like
Oh
he
yeah,
cares more about football, which is the funniest storyline ever because he quit
yes.
football when he was like 12 years old. He's not a football player. He never was a football player for real like that. So
Mhm.
it's funny, and you hope that Peterson is built like Ant because the more Anthony Edwards we have in the NBA, the better the product of the NBA is. So I'm rooting
Mhm.
for Peterson, even if I don't necessarily. I'm not saying I don't want him on the Bulls. I just would rather have those other 3 guys
Mhm.
more, if that makes sense.
Facts. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's just called being reasonable, which again gets called negative these days. Having saying a reasonable take like, "Hey, I like this kid. I like these other guys more." Also, you obviously hate those other guys, right? Nope. Just like
Nope.
this kid more than yeah. So that's the times we
J-
live in. But I heard you loud and clear.
Yep. All right, man. So let the people know, when is this podcast with Mike getting started? Where are we going to find it?
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. I don't want to say too much, but I know it's going to be soon. Like we were thinking about maybe starting it up next weekend, but it'll be definitely soon though. We're just getting everything kind of worked out now and all the logistics and everything, but it'll be soon.
Okay. And then me and you, we're gonna have to do an MMA podcast one of these days.
Yeah, fuck
Get
yeah,
those thoughts out there. So
yeah,
you
man.
let the people know like how long have you been training? What's your background with the martial arts?
Yeah, so I did Muay Thai, trained for Team Toro Muay Thai in Westmont. I only had one fight though. Unfortunately, my coach broke my goddamn toe before the fight, and you were talking about the adrenaline. I actually broke it during the fight, like officially, and because of the adrenaline, though, you don't feel that. So I just stopped kicking for the whole fight, and I won the fight. And then after, like, we go up to the room, like after, and we're all sitting there, and I'm sitting in my chair, and then we like get up to leave, and I just fall out of the chair, like I couldn't walk on my foot anymore. So they had to carry me around for the whole weekend, man. It was goofy, but yeah, it was just that's how I know about the adrenaline, dude. I'll never forget that because you don't feel that in those moments at all. And then after,
Mhm.
fuck, you couldn't even walk. But yeah, no, I trained back then, man, and I had just got back into it this year because I've been doing construction, so it's been so hard to find a time since 2020 to even train during the work year. And I finally was about to this winter train for about 3 weeks and then injured myself doing jujitsu, tore my meniscus, and but that's what led to me doing all this basketball content. So It's been a different passion. You know, I've been diving, like I've been seeing you talk about putting in the reps. I've been putting in the reps just to the content, just engaging in the team. But I definitely miss putting in the reps in the gym for sure, man. It's just a different kind of obsession.
Yep. It's funny how injuries can lead you down this path, because that's kind of my origin story. Is I tore my bicep training. Actually, doctors said it's the first time they've ever heard of somebody tearing their bicep boxing, but it
Mm.
happens. And then I was recovering from surgery, and I was like, man, I got all this free time. I might as well, get my basketball thoughts out there. So I started the Twitter page, and it took off over the years, and now I'm here hosting a podcast with Sal. So
Yeah,
it's
dope.
funny how, it's funny how injuries can just lead you down that path. But yeah,
Hmm.
let the people know where they can find you, man.
Oh yeah, if you guys just come on Twitter, man, the name's right there at Guilty Pleasure. And I got all the links on my Twitter page. From there, you'll see my Bulls on Tab articles, and then when I got the roundtable coming up, and like we talked about earlier, if you ever want to talk ball, and we don't just talk basketball in the Discord either, but like if you want to talk basketball, come in the Bulls HQ Discord. But I got, like Justin said, we got MMA talk in there. We got like all the sports are going down in there, and just life in general. So yeah, you can come to the Bulls HQ Discord and find me as well.
For sure, man. For sure. Well, I appreciate you coming on here today. We got some exciting stuff lined up. Bulls on tap. Don't worry, guys. Tuesday, we're going to be back, and it's going to be myself and Sal. I know it's just been me kind of doing these pods. He's been busy at work. The man's a firefighter, so priorities for sure. But he's going to be back on Tuesday, and we're going to be joined by Joel Lorenzi, who, if you guys aren't familiar
Oh
with him,
hell yeah.
he works for The Athletic. He was on the Bulls beat this year. He's been on the Thunder beat for years before that. So he has Josh Giddey's entire career. He's followed it. So
That's
we're going to
dope.
get a really good talk in with him. And I'm just going to say, man, these podcasts, they're for the fans. So if you guys, anything you want to hear us talk about, any guests you want to see on it, man, just let us know in the comments, and we will do our best to make it happen. So if you guys aren't following this podcast, hit that subscribe button. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's at JTalksHoops, Guilty at Guilty Pleasure. Appreciate you guys listening. We're about 30 minutes out from the Bulls tip-off, so we're going to call it a day. Take it easy, Bulls Nation.
Oh yeah.
Sal Benz. Live when the mic snap. Justin. In the cut, bring the fight back. Windy City talk, turn it down, that's that. Welcome to the show, it's Bulls on tap. Bulls on tap, pull it up, press play. Chi-Town talk, we can run it all day. From the tip-off buzz to the post-game rap. If you rock with the Bulls, you rock with Bulls.